It certainly has been a pretty dismal past several days along the eastern seaboard. First of all, with Jose, now with Maria, and Maria is bringing tropical storm force conditions across the Outer Banks of North Carolina and spreading up into the Mid-Atlantic region. All the while, of course, we continue to see winter weather across the western side of the country. The heat also is easing from the eastern half of the country after the longest, most intense late September heat wave on record for a widespread area. It has been a pretty extreme past 5 days or so across the lower 48, that's for sure. But thanks for clicking on to the Wednesday edition of Vogan's US Outlook. Looking briefly at the GFS, and you can see here Maria just literally due east of Cape Hatteras, bringing coastal flooding, gusty winds, beach erosion, choppy surf, and of course also some heavy rainfall along the coast as well. But even its reaches is fairly restricted, mainly to the coastline itself. Further west, it's largely sunny and hot. But interestingly enough, of course, Jose hovering around off the mid-Atlantic coast there for the past, the best part of a week, really. It's amazing how Maria weakened once Jose faded and Maria moved up into the colder water that was picked up by Jose, weakening the system quite dramatically. And that was probably a real godsend in the sense that if Jose hadn't have been there, this could have been a major deal for the East Coast here. Rather, it's been hot, sunny, heat wave conditions, and really just along the immediate coast that has been the trouble. High pressure sitting over the northern Rockies at this moment in time. The snow has eased off after what has been a very wintry week indeed so far. We've got this high pressure system, this cool Canadian high that's coming down, that is essentially squeezing out the heat in the eastern half of the country. This frontal system is going to light up as it bumps into the hot, humid air, and then eventually what we're going to see is Maria scooting on out, and we're going to see this high coming into the northeastern half of the country. So the heat will be gone, and what we're going to see is a much fresher feeling, more kind of typical late September, early October type weather for the eastern half of the country. We're also going to see more in the way of chill coming into the northern Rockies, the northern plain states, and eventually east as well. So what we're going to continue to see is low pressure scooting across the north here, snowfall across the higher elevations. But generally speaking, it is going to be a much different weather pattern by the time we reach the next 7 days or so. Looking at the GFS ensemble here real quick, the 5 day increments, and we'll see exactly how the model is indicating the upper air pattern as we go forward here. So the upcoming 5 day period looks like this here. We've got, of course, the some region over the northern half of the country. The slight negative here just off the eastern seaboard in the wake of Maria as it scoots on out. The 6 to 10 day period looks like this here, where we've got still a build-up of high pressure over the eastern half of North America, the trough in the Pacific Northwest. So we're going to keep things fairly mild and settled here up across this region of North America. And of course, any kind of tropical threat, this is not a good sign for both Gulf and Eastern Seaboard here when you've got this massive positive here over the eastern side of Canada. And then finally, the 11 to 15 day, it looks as if we've got very little change. We've got the positive centered over the Great Lakes. Again, the trough over the western half of the country overall. So after what has been a very extreme warm west, cool east, looks as if the kind of the seesaw has flipped back around again and is kind of neutralizing what has been a fairly extreme September. The month of September will probably wind up fairly close to normal because of the extremity of the cold in the west and the heat, of course, in the east. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day. Bye for now.